So the first item on the agenda today is Fusaka updates. So do we have Barnabas on the call for DevNet updates?
Yes, we did a non-finality event on DevNet 3 throughout the weekend, and this morning I have restarted all the machines that were producing bad blocks, and they're slowly syncing up back to head. Currently, we see a lower participation than before, which is quite interesting. Right now, the major nodes that are offline still are Geth and Nethermind ones, because those were with the invalid images before. I have cleared their database, and they should be able to sync back to head. Currently, we see about 36% participation on the network, though, which is rather low. And it's a bit surprising that about 20% of extra nodes have decided to also stop syncing.
So does this mean that during the non-finality period, we had about 50-ish% participation, and then once you started all of the nodes back on, we reduced participation again?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like they're not able to keep up with the sync load, right? Or is there some other prevailing theory?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. We have rate limiting enabled on all the machines, and I think some of them are hitting that, especially for nodes. What's
And
very
Aditya,
interesting is none of the ARM machines are out of sync. So basically, right now the network is held up by mostly ARM machines. So it might also be some cloud-related issue.
and at least according to logs, how does it look like it's going? Are the nodes progressing, or are they just struggling to find healthy peers?
So there's a bunch of nodes that are progressing still. Most of them have caught up, especially on the ES side. There's still a few nodes like Lighthouse Gaf 1 that have not able to get started syncing. And I think it's still the same syncing bug that Lighthouse previously reported. I'm not sure if anyone from Lighthouse is around.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're using the other branch that I gave you on Friday, but like that we found like a couple of issues over the weekend on that one as well, which was related to like a few bugs on our unstable branch. So we have a few fixes on unstable that we are going to merge into that branch today and again test if uh, stuff should work as expected. And yeah, I'll keep you in the loop as to which branch to use.
Yeah, okay. So right now we have the blocks and columns on Lighthouse Gas 1, which has stopped syncing, and we have unstable on everything else. But we can update it to whatever you want. But yeah, so slowly the CLs are forward syncing, but because we had a quite long non-finality and because the forward sync is very, very slow on every single CL, it might take another few hours before we see any improvement. I would really like to keep it as is right now, not really touch anything unless we see something definitely wrong, and see if we can recover back to finality in like a day or two.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And yeah, if there's any fixed images, then we should roll those out. But otherwise, I agree. I think we should monitor how the nodes are going and take that data into account. What blob count are we at right now?
We are on 20, I think. Whatever BPO5 was, it's max blobs per block 20, but Spammer had a bug and we are not spamming block transactions right now, but BK is debugging.
Yeah, but during the non-finality event, were we able to hit 20 blobs?
I mean, we are still at the non-finality event.
Yeah, I meant the core non-finality event over the weekend at least.
Yeah, we can check that, but I think so.
Okay, cool. Because those are the blobs that everyone would sort of be struggling to fetch columns for right
Yeah,
now.
so like even an hour ago, we had consistent 20 blobs in the blocks that were proposed.
Okay, that's really nice test. Thank you. Anything else you wanted to add on that, or anything the clan teams want to talk about? Yeah, Enrico?
Um, yeah, just want to mention that a couple of hours ago, we've discovered a bug in our state upgrade from Electra to Fulu. And I share the link of the PR that fixes this. It contains a couple of things, but this is the main thing. So essentially, we missed the porting of the pending consolidation from the state of from the Electra state to the Fulu state. So I think that we never tested on any test net that across the fork there was actually a consolidation pending. So we always started with an empty consolidation set. So maybe there is something on the spec test that needs to be addressed, but seems like serious. So we fixed that.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like a spec test, right? Yeah, Justin?
Yeah, I can look into this.
Yeah, let me know if you need more context on that, but the link should be enough.
And I
Do
guess
we
we should
have?
always make sure that we have at least one spec test for every one of these special requests.
Yeah, I was thinking like we should constantly, whenever there is something that moves from the status from a state to the other state, we have to always constantly testing it, even previous introduced stuff. So not just testing what the new status is introduced in by the fork, but also all the regression possible from the previous forks.
So we do have fork, like at fork testing. I'm thinking of like deposit requests and consolidation requests, but I'm not sure if we have like pending consolidation at the fork. So that would be good for me to look into.
Probably the missing thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other updates for DevNet 3 or spec? And I'm assuming there'd be another spec release, right, Justin? Oh, spec
Yeah,
test.
there'll be another spec release probably in a week or so.
Is that going to be Alpha 6?
I was actually thinking of doing beta 0, if this would be the one that lines up with the first testnet release.
Is the idea that the EPBS net 0 is going to be based on that too?
Say it again.
Is EPBS net 0 also going to be based on top of that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, could be.
I guess it doesn't matter too much because this is just adding tests, right? So from a specification perspective, alpha 5 and beta 0 would be the same.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter much.
Yeah. Any other updates relating to DevNets? We do have the MEV workflow working. Is there anything to report over there? Anything we're investigating?
Yeah, so in terms of the MEV workflow, yeah, last week we were able to get the private order flow thing. We just kind of we were able to get a resolution with that. Like basically on a high level, it looks like our builder was only retaining like transactions for like 5 blocks by default. We somehow bumped that up to like 10,000 blocks, and things seem to generally be fine. I think the R builder folks also made that a configuration parameter, so future we don't have to modify code for that. And yeah, the other good thing is like the R Builder folks have launched their own builder too. Like, so we have like 2 builders submitting to the MEV Boost relay, which is nice. And generally that's good testing. Yeah, outside that, there's one thing which Fahil from the PBS Foundation is looking into is that, so there's one issue, again, it's probably it's not a very serious issue. It's just that when we transition from Electra to Fusaka, I think there are cases where block simulation fails with the relay. That's because I think our builder is including some pre-EIP, pre Fusaka transactions without cell proofs. This is basically an issue with the logic. Like it's filtering out blobs for certain transactions, but including the EIP 844 transactions. So that is something like I think Fahil is looking into. It's not a really critical issue because the mempool kind of slowly like drains itself out of like the pre-Fusaka transactions without cell proofs. But yeah, I think File is looking to that. Maybe I'll also spend some time later on that. But outside that, there's not much with the MEV workflow. We released like builder specs. We merged like MEV boost to main. We're looking to merge MEV boost relay to main, but we're waiting on like the attestant IO PRs like for Go Builder client to get merged. I think somebody from Attestant IO has started looking into it and has raised some review comments, which I've addressed. So I think, yeah, we're looking to like merge everything to main, and there is that one issue which we'll see like how we can resolve it, or if that's even a problem at all. Like that's also not clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Besides this, what is the DevNet 5 plan? Do you maybe want to tell us what the blockers are there, Barnabas, and we can get an update from clients as to where they are?
Yeah, so the main blocker would be trunk branches and all major features merging to the trunk branches. Ideally, we wanted to do that this week, but I think giving an extra week would make the most sense for all client teams. And in this case, we would aim for all major features merged into the trunk branches by this week, Friday, and then maybe we can do DevNet launch on next week, Wednesday-ish.
Do client teams want to chime in? Does this timeline work for you guys? Do we have to change around dates? What's the general consensus?
Sorry, did you say next week, Wednesday? I
Yes.
Yeah, that seems good for us.
Yes, this is for DevNet 5. Okay, it seems like most, if not all clients have agreed to that. If for any reason you guys feel like we're missing something, then please reach out to us and then we can still modify the timelines. But it takes a few days worth of preparation to get these networks up, especially if it's over a couple thousand nodes. So it would be nice if we know well in advance of time if we have to change our plans. Okay, the next agenda item is one from Alex. Do you want to talk about the temp check?
Yeah, sure. This ties in a bit with timing for Sokka, and yeah, I guess one thing we could do here is couple the hoodie release with the mainnet release, and I just wanted to make sure that was okay with everyone, rather than have like a distinct mainnet release. It would just help us pipeline things a bit and compress. Otherwise, what would just be some downtime. Anyone have any issues with that? Like we have precedent for having testnets coupled, and I feel like we've done this before where it's say a testnet and mainnet, but I just wanted to make sure.
What would be the gap between the actual hoodie fork time and mainnet fork time? Is that the same or like
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think the exact dates are going to depend a bit on how like the next few weeks go with the dev nets and say Sepolia and Halashki. Um, but yeah, I think I was thinking something. Okay, so we have this invariant of having a month between the release and mainnet. I think we could have hoodie somewhere in between that month. So then to answer your question, yeah, something like 2, 3 weeks.
I think in that case, like you said, it would depend on how the other testnet folks go. Like if the other testnet folks go pretty smoothly, then I think we'd be a little more confident to have like a smaller gap. Otherwise, yeah, we would maybe want to have a bigger gap.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I guess we're going to be discussing this more and more over the next couple of weeks and months. So, yeah, this was just a temp check. Any other Fusaka topics? Yeah, I think Roman's asking, do we have a tentative target date on when we decide testnet timestamps? Do we do this after DevNet 5 or do we want to do so earlier than DevNet 5? What is our blocker here?
So to me, it's mainly DevNet 5. So if DevNet 5 goes well, we can also do this like BPO analysis. We want to do DevNet 4. That should give us numbers we feel comfortable with for mainnet, which we would then also use for all the test nets. So assuming DevNet 5 goes well, then we can look to schedule Haleshki and Sepolia, I think pretty soon after that.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. I think we'll try and have the DevNet 5 analysis up as soon as possible after. I think Sam's already working on a lot of the the Jupyter notebooks, etc. So that once the data is there, it should be quite straightforward to plug in the data and then get an analysis out.
Cool.
Yeah, and we were also talking about reducing the amount of time between BPOs for DevNet 5. So it won't take a week-long testnet, but it might be a bit shorter. But yeah, I think we'll release a full spec for DevNet 5 and so on over the course of the week.
Do you have an idea of what the time between APO forks should be? Like 12 hours, 8
Exactly.
hours?
I think about 12-ish hours sounds reasonable. And then we do want to collect some data with MEV as well. So maybe 12 hours plus another few hours of MEV worth of data, MEV style data, and then so on.
Sure. Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think Casey is asking for potentially a written DevNet and release timeline, but maybe that can be for all core devs on ETH-R&D or somewhere where we can discuss it a bit more async?
Yeah, I can put something in the next few days somewhere, and definitely, yeah, we'll discuss by this week's ACD. Well, yeah, let's discuss there, but I'll get something async before that.
Okay, thank you. Any other Fusaka related topics? Were there any other bugs on the DevNet/spec clarifications we need to get checked out?
There was a typo in the most recent release, one of the new configuration variable names. I posted a comment about it on Discord, but just know it'll be fixed in the next release.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Next topic on the agenda is gas limit and bloatnet/performance devnet updates. So we have an update from the sync test. We're able to get sync tests running well on Geth as well as Bezu. Both of these clients also offer a flag similar to required block, which has been very helpful on these smaller shadow forks in terms of finding peers. The others are struggling to either find peers or maintain their peers. So it would be great if Nethermind, Reth, and Aragon could provide us with a similar flag. We flagged this in the Stateflow channel as well, but if for some reason you're not on the channel or you want to discuss this, then yeah, please DM someone from the Panda Ops team and we'll put you in the right channels. And is someone on the Bezu team here who wants to talk about 60 million gas update? I see that they had a comment on the PM repo about it.
Yeah, I can share some update. We've noticed that we are highly impacted by the divisions, so mod, div, sdiv, and we are working on that. We've tried couple things to avoid a big overhaul, but I think we are going to have to do the NUTS implementation from scratch in Java, avoiding all the libraries. So yeah, we're working on it right now. And I had some more updates from Simon.
Could you clarify which library you're talking about? Is this for
the big integers Java library?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we have a bit of memory churn, object churn because of the big integer, and which we would like to avoid to make things faster. So we need to do arithmetics directly on the bytes or primitive arrays basically. Just give me a second. I had an update from Simon, which I'm trying to look for. Yeah, so he says also that there's no issue recovery issues. Yeah, and so we're working on this on these benchmarks that now run East opcodes or test cases, which we hadn't had a chance to run on our benchmarking. And next, unblocking 6 million gas by improving ECAD. We also need to work on that, but it's now less urgent given the other problems that we have with more basic opcodes like division and so on. Yeah, that's pretty much it, what he passed along.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And do we have someone from the Get team who wants to talk about maybe their bottlenecks, or would they prefer to do that async later?
I can quickly talk about it. We haven't, like the only big one is Modex, and we haven't resolved our strategy, how to move forward with it. We have three different ideas. Either we go with GMP, or we make a proposal to update the standard library, or we pick some of the edge cases in our own code. All of these three different ideas have different drawbacks, and we are still debating how to go forward with it. But we should at least resolve which way to go forward this week, and then it will, depending on the strategy chosen, it will take us a bit to get there. But it's also, I think the general consensus is we don't feel like ModX is something that will keep us from reaching 60 million at this point.
Okay, thank you for the update. And next on the list is Carlos. Do you have any updates or anything you want to talk about relating to state growth, or would you prefer to do that next week?
Yeah, not much that from I just came back from out of office today, so yeah, not much to say now. Working on all of the test cases we already defined, and waiting on Ref to get back to us on the questions we left for client teams, such that we can complete all of the test cases and we can move forward with implementing as much as possible.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, the next topic was I wanted to get a temp check on clients' opinions on tools like OpenTelemetry. So one of the things we've been noticing is it's getting extremely hard to sort of deduce data just from pure Prometheus metrics or from logs. Both of those are not very easy to do any data-driven analysis, especially if you're going down more on the performance optimization route. It might make sense for us to have a standard system, something similar to OpenTelemetry that clients implement, and we can ingest and use that as a comparison point. It's completely opt-in. I would assume that it's even disabled by default, and we just run them on the performance images as and when required. But it could also be something that's never merged into master, but lies in the performance branches of clients. Yeah, we just wanted to get a temp check on how this is, how clients feel about this. It could also be very useful for the future when we're talking about gas repricing, in terms of figuring out if we've actually priced the gas correctly according to all the clients. Like benchmarks are sort of treating it like a black box, but OpenTelemetry would give us actual data from each client as to how the performance is. I know that Prism has OpenTelemetry already, and wanted to know if other clients have opinions on this. To Alexi's point, we can maybe compile some examples, or do you have something in? Yeah. Okay, I don't think we have an example directly right now, but we can share some on Allcore Devs and maybe see how clients feel about it there. Okay. We'll talk about that async then. The next topic on the agenda was EPBS update. Do we have someone from the EPBS working group who can give us an update on how things are going?
Potus is not here. I guess I can give a quick update. So let's see. So this Friday, first of all, this Friday there's a breakout call. So highly encourage people to join the breakout call if you're working on EPBS or looking at Clemson in general. Other than that, I have been mostly focused on consensus spec tests and consensus spec update on EPBS side. And currently the spec tests have not pretty good coverage, but starting to have coverage on just basic like SSD structures. So you can run SSD spec tests. There are a few like open questions where I'm still resolving. That is just like some of the renaming things, making sure fields are in the right position and stuff like that. I don't want to like go over them so much in detail because like it's still relatively early-ish. But then I do think like this will be brought up in the EPBS breakout call if you want to pay attention to if you want to follow those. But yeah, but currently I think most of the focus on just getting this back in the right stage that like a client can start implementing it, and which I do believe client can start experimenting it already and give feedback because like TagView and Prism already had a finalized DevNet earlier this year. And then other than that, yeah, it's basically just spec changes. So yeah, happy to take any questions, feedback.
Cool. Is there anything you guys feel like you need from a testing or tooling point of view, or is everything okay there?
In terms of tooling, I think once we have some prototype DevNet running, we definitely need tooling, just making sure Dora can show like the right page, making sure like, for example, like for key, the for choice also can consider like the notions of like an empty slot, for example. And I think there will be a lot of tooling needs to be updated. I think it may be good to start thinking about this, like what type of tooling may be affected in the EPBS land. But yeah, definitely a lot. And yeah, I think it's probably good to start sooner or later.
Okay, cool. I think we can put that on our plate for once. Yeah, probably in the next month we should be able to start looking into it. Do we have Tony or someone else for an update for block level access lists?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, quick update. We have a breakout call on Wednesday, 2 p.m. UTC. So for everyone interested, please show up. The main topics will be some final discussions about the scope of the AP and also then getting into testing specs and yeah, how to get to a DevNet.
Cool. I think we merged in support / have support for Glamsterdam fork activation on our Genesis tools. So it should work on Kurtosis as well in case you guys are ready for local testing.
Perfect. Yeah, great.
Okay. Sunnyside Labs, do you guys have an update? Do you want to share anything?
We don't have any reports this week, but our current work is analyzing some issues with perfect peerless network. So we have a few issues that we have identified in few clients and are communicating directly with the client teams. And another thing that we are working on is we are building a chaos testing tool to try to stress the network in a more aggressive way. So like in addition to applying stress to like RAM or CPU, we are also adding features like splitting the network into half and like trying to see if the network progresses as usual after merging the network back in. So if you guys have any specific chaos testing scenarios or things you guys would like to test, you can try to simulate it in our DevNets.
Awesome. Thank you. Really looking forward to those PRs and awesome job with the chaos testing stuff. We have an open floor now and some time. So are there still any open topics that people want to bring out? Okay, last call. And if not, then that's it for today. Thank you all for joining.
Bye, everyone.